to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, the show needs an intro and needs some lights too. I'm Fisher, your host, featuring Chris McCarty. We've got some guests coming in today. And I think one of their names is Janelle. The other one's and the other one's Daniels. They'll be stopping by a little bit later on.
Don't mind the.
All right, let's also welcome in our first sponsor for the first 15 minutes of the Wake.Show. Thank you so much, Single Source Insurance. And we couldn't do this without you. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.
Happy birthday, Steve Corbin. Who's logged on?
Birthday,
Corbin.
Happy birthday, Steve Corbin. Happy birthday to you.
That's what my Facebook told me today anyway, Steve. I don't know if it's true or not. But my Facebook told me it was Steve's.
That's awesome, man.
All right.
I know you got to be feeling good, brother. Happy birthday to you, man. Seriously, we all get one day. Today's your day. So let's keep on. Steve, we want you to talk all day. Just tell us, chime in, tell us what you like, don't like. This is Steve's day. I like it.
I like it.
I like it, yeah.
Also, good morning, Kurt Schreiner, Ian, Elliott, and Steve says thanks, brother. It is our pleasure. I've got a couple things we'll get to today on the show. Some of the topics, as you can see, now that the Miss America pageant has dropped the swimsuit competition, does it have a chance? Is this a great sign for the Me Too movement and moving forward in America and for our little girls and da-da-da? Or is this just one of those little things that'll fail miserably, and next thing you know, are the females in our culture will be back in high heels and bikinis?
I personally love it. Whoops. I think it's a very, very good thing. Let's get off the physical aspect of life and get into more spiritual thoughts and thinking.
Yeah. And let's see what else. Oh, I need to share to my personal page, but I will. You know what? Let's do this, Chris.
What up?
I see you already have the guitar in your hand, so I'm assuming you're feeling kind of musical today.
I'm feeling musical every day, but yes, right now I'm definitely more inclined to do something.
All right. How about instead of just a happy birthday, play Steve? Any requests? And we'll have Chris kick off the show. What do you think about that, Chris?
Because he can. This is my show. He can be like, like corn.
Okay.
No, I was gonna. Well, here's the thing I've noticed in my life. It's summertime, and so I noticed that, and when the seasons change, your life changes as well. For me, I noticed that it's the end of things and the beginning of things. So relationships you might have that are no longer. Life is full of relationships, and I have a relationship with Chris, relationship with you guys, and your loving relationships. So if anyone is in the middle of that, I figure here's a good song. It's called Stuck. And maybe it's time for you to let some of those things go. Like I've told a lot of people don't know this, some of you do. I personally just changed my phone number and let go of everyone in the past, and now I'm just being very selective of who I let into my little insignificant world. So maybe this is for you. Maybe it's your turn to do it as well. So let's do that.
All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to share the show.
Share it, brother. Share on.
Oh, by the way, Steve says if you have some Frank Sinatra or some Tupac, he's down.
Hold me now or forever. Hold your peace, 'cause I don't want to know if it could have been everything. I don't need to know if you were the best for me. Is it real or we just comfortable? I don't want to ask why we're still in it. Which way will I go? What road will you take? I don't want to ask why we're still in it. Too many times we don't tell the truth, guys. You gotta tell the truth, it'll set you free. Look at me now, I bet your friends keep laughing. I don't know how things got this way, but I'll never say, I will never say that this is a waste of my time. Is it real or we just comfortable? I don't want to ask why we're still in it. Which way will I go? What road will you take? Don't want to ask why we're still in it. Why we're still in it. We keep on denying the inevitable. It's what we say. Why stay in it We already know that the end is coming, so why delay? 'Cause is it real or we just comfortable? I don't want to ask while we're still in it. Which way will I go? What role will you take? Don't want to ask while we're still in it. And it's just hell that way, man. I am better now than I was before. Life's wonderful without you. My mind is clear, my soul is free. Thought you should know that I want to thank you. Is it real or we just comfortable? Don't want to ask while we're still in it. Which way will I go? What role will you take? Don't want to ask while we're still in it. Is it real or we just comfortable? Don't want to ask while we're still in it. Which way will I go? What role will you take? Asking you now while we're still in it. While we're still in it. While we're still in it. Yay, stuck.
All right, and thank you so much for the likes and shares. I got my likes and my shares out for the Wake.Show on my personal page, and thank you for being here. All right, man.
Yeah.
Nice. You wrote that one?
I did, man. I did. If you think about it, man, like I feel like in all the relationships that I was in, and see if you guys can, jump with me on that. When you know you're not happy, and that means 9 out of 10 times I feel however you feel about someone, they feel the same way. It's just a matter of just being honest and open. And so, when you're in that and you're having these other conversations that you're not talking about the elephant in the room, you're just denying it. You're denying the inevitable. And so there's this block. It's this happiness block. And maybe part of the lesson in the relationship is allowing others to go and you also to go, because maybe that's what it is. You need that. You need to be honest, man. So they say truth will set you free, and I can tell you, man, I dropped my phone and I had 700 some odd contacts, and I feel great talking to the 5 people that I speak to. It just feels good.
Pat Largo says, I'm cranking it on the computer. The Best Buy employees just told me to leave. Steve Corbin says the song is fire, man. Love it.
Happy birthday to Steve, bro. Thank you, man. Next up is Tupac.
All right, so we are going to bring up here at the beginning of the show. We are going to bring up show stuff, and we've got some topics to get to, like you've seen the body there. Also, Cape Coral is banning beer sales during states of emergency. We'll get to that story. They're saying that it's a hazard. They don't want all the beer trucks on the road. They don't want the liquored up people back. Man, I don't know. This might be a game changer. I might have to become anti-government after this one. Trump cancels the Philadelphia Eagles visit to the White House. Miss America, as you see, that pageant has dropped the swimsuit portion of their program. Is that going to turn into something very cool and even get better, or is it about to fall by the wayside? LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. LeBron James has declared himself. Well, it wasn't really a declaration. They asked him some things to describe himself, and he threw out GOAT, GOAT, greatest of all time, which starts the conversation, the comparison to Michael Jordan. So we'll come back to. You have some opinions on that, Chris?
Man, do I? Come on, man. Come on.
Also, on a sad note, or a more somber note today, we will touch on a story coming out of Parkland. The Parkland shooting and that resource officer. Remember how America wanted to put the crosshairs on this guy and put all the blame on this one resource officer that didn't go into the school? Well, according to him, what we found out is the only reason he didn't go in is because he thought the shooter was outside, and so he was doing what he had to do. But a horrible story. This guy crying on camera. He says he doesn't know how he can ever live through this, and da-da-da-da-da. So we'll come back to that story later in the show. And our guests later on in the show are a group of people out of Clearwater. And you may have seen some stories on them in the paper. Here's one here from last year. In Clearwater, an investor says his co-working hub could help spark downtown. And this is one of those groups. They're called the Ring Workspaces. And this is one of those, coming out of the Google, Yahoo, Apple environments. This is there's, I guess, something that's come out of that that's very eco-friendly and great workspaces, creative. You feel good. You don't feel like at the end of the day you're drained and you don't know how you're going to get up the next morning. So we'll talk to them a little bit more.
They're called The Ring?
The Ring.
Did you see that movie?
I did, yeah. I wouldn't be calling this thing The Ring.
I was just like, where's that little girl over there? Oh, man, that was a scary movie, man.
It was really cool. Brett Wilkins, I see you're in the on the message side of things or in the comment section. It was good to see you yesterday. He goes, that'll cause a state of emergency on its own. Yeah, you want to ban beer. I mean, that's part of what
hurricane parties.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. If you're going to stay behind with your house, you don't do it sober. I know it's stupid to be drunk, but you know.
I don't know. Teach his own, man. Teach his own.
I work better under states of emergencies. I'm a little, lifted. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's apples and oranges, but don't they, when an airplane's going down, they have you take the breaths because it gets you high, and you just accept your fate? I got it from Fight Club. I remember that. Yeah. So I didn't want to act like
one day,
but I don't know. Like you accepting your fate. You're like, dude. So hurricane's coming.
So you're saying it's a conspiracy that those masks drop down to suffocate you in the end, to send you.
Well, that's what they said. You're in a panic.
You're taking alive.
That's what he said. He said, like, in a catastrophic emergency, you're taking panic. You take breaths, and oxygen gets you high, so you become euphoric and you accept your fate. So maybe that's what the alcohol is doing. I'm accepting the fact that this can go either way.
There is yes, there is that too. When you're sitting there and you realize you shouldn't have been out in the rain trying to surf down your, your driveway, and your neck's broken, and you're laying there going, at least it doesn't hurt as bad as it could.
Oh man,
so, sorry about that. All right, so before we get to Brett, because Brett came in yesterday and left us a nice note on a messenger afterwards, and then I asked him some questions because he said nice things about the show. I said, well, how about some things that you don't like or things that we could change or add to and this and this and this? And he actually replied very, very quickly, so I want to get to that here in a second and set you guys up too.
And it's right. I was going to say, Steve, what do you think, man? It's your birthday. What would you do? If you could make this show more Steve-friendly or a Steve-esque, whatever it is, what would you do, man?
All right. And if you were a consultant for an hour, consultant for 15 minutes. You have 15 minutes to bash on us. Our egos can't take it after that. We get a little tender after about 15 minutes if you suck. But real quickly, the Wake.Pups are here today, and make sure you follow them on Instagram, the Wake.Pups. This is Roxy and Joey. Roxy at the top, Joey at the bottom, and that is their cousin. Hold on. Cousin, Abby at the bottom. That is my wife's mother's dog. Are they? I don't know. It doesn't matter. So anyway, but I want to show you these pictures too from the weekend because I did some real, man work. Well, by man work, I mean,
I was about to say man work.
I mean, all right.
You did some work. Some king work.
Some man work was done. However, it was my wife and her mom that did the king's work. So hold on a second. Here's how this reads. This weekend, Mom and Grandma worked really hard at taking my dragon pit away. His dragon pit is where he, chases all the lizards. This is Joey, obviously, writing this one. I love to chase the tiny dragons behind the big square fan, but Mom replaced the obstacles with flowers. It looks nice, but it's way less fun. I did get to play outside, though, and got stickies all over me, and Mom put me in the shower. What a day, Joey. So let's look through the weekend here. Oh, wait, no, I don't go. I go here. Oh, that was the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Bear with me. Oh, you go backwards.
How do you want it?
Son of a...
How does it feel? Coming up.
There we go.
This is for you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the stall.
My Tupac.
Thanks for the stall. Oh, that was
He wanted Tupac, brother. I'm trying to give it to him.
All right, so let's go through the... there we go. So that's the fan out back. So as you guys can see, all the trash or all the stuff we threw behind the fan was to keep him, because he digs under the thing. All the lizards try to hide under there, and we just can see that thing crash. Matter of fact, it's already leaning. You can see how that thing's leaning? So we had to do something about it at the Fisher household. And that's what it turned into. How about that? And I can't say I had a hand in any of it. I was working on this was Saturday, and so I had a race in the morning, and then Chris and I had stuff all afternoon and into the evening, and so this was my wife's doing here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the stickies that we were talking about. Chris, I know you've had you picked some of these off of him.
Yeah, I did, and I just feel like I wasted my time. Right back into that.
You did. I had to brush them. Let's see here. That's another picture there, and that's I think you've seen enough. You got it. There's enough. You can go check out the awake.pups on Instagram. Follow them there. Now let's get to our guest from yesterday, Chris. Well, not a guest. We had one of our.
I was going to talk about Eric, man. So I want to know what you're doing since he came in. What have you taken from? When are you starting this whole thing?
Yesterday.
You started yesterday.
Yep.
So how do you feel today?
I feel good.
I know it's just one day. But
it is just one day, and I didn't start the physical diet. What I did was yesterday I made sure that I loaded in everything into the MyFitnessPal app. So all the food that I had yesterday is loaded in here. My breakfast this morning is already loaded in here. So
what did you eat this morning?
2 eggs with a slice of real cheese, banana.
And this is what Eric suggested.
No, not at all.
Oh
no, this is a prep week leading up to the start date is going to be next Monday. So he wanted me this week to get into start getting into the habit, getting the mindset. So one of those things is loading in everything that I eat every day.
Good.
So this wasn't. Matter of fact, though, I did run my breakfast by him yesterday. I go, all right. What was yesterday was 2 eggs, the same thing, 2 eggs, cheese, a banana, a little bowl of cereal.
What kind of cereal?
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay, Cheerios.
Big glass of water, cup of coffee, and cup of glass of Diet Coke.
How did you feel after that? The next couple of hours. Did you feel
I don't remember.
No, how do you feel right now? You feel like you're good,
Yeah, I feel fine. Yeah,
so
I don't feel
like you're stepped up on sugar, which is good.
No, I'm not hopped up. I don't feel hopped up. I don't feel lethargic.
Good.
I feel like all right. No, we're good. We're
all
good.
Right.
All right. So we're going to start that, and you guys are more than welcome. This is going to be a part of the show. So if you're like, all right, I've been looking to drop a couple lbs myself or course correct my eating habits, well, I'm gonna hitch my wagon to these guys, and I'll start next Monday too. So
cool.
I guess we're going down the keto, not paleo. I guess it's similar to paleo, but the keto diet. And so
what is the keto diet?
I know that's going to be tough. Well, I have to do some reading on it.
Okay.
And
can you give us that kind of a soft idea? Because I couldn't really watch. I had the kids and I was just with them, so I didn't get a chance to really watch the show. I chimed in when I could. So can you kind of give us a little bit about it?
It is high fat, protein, and low carbs.
Gotcha. So monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, and then high protein. Okay. Gotcha.
All right. So it's that's basically it. One of the things he said, what's the big difference between this and paleo? Is because we will be keeping track. So once we get into this thing, with all the food you're loading in, there is a certain percentage that he wants to be carbs, fat, and protein. So once we get into this thing, we'll start adjusting those numbers hopefully accordingly and make it through. So paleo, you don't really focus on that kind of stuff. It's just like, hey, here's what we were eating 20,000 years ago or 50,000 years ago before we learned how to farm.
Right.
Just eat that.
Okay.
But it doesn't say in what portions and da-da-da-da-da.
Gotcha.
Atkins, it was basically, don't worry about it. As long as you're not eating carbs, not eating sugar, I don't give a damn. So that was me back in the late 90s going, bacon, bacon, sausage.
Oh, wow.
I lost like 30 pounds in 3 months.
But did you gain it back? Because that's what I heard. That's what I heard. Yeah, it happens. Right.
Of course, and more. So I guess this is the evolution of those diets, and we'll be kicking it off next week. Now, I don't know if he's going to have me doing intermittent fasting because I see Nikki started today.
Cool.
She hasn't eaten yet today.
Oh.
So Nikki, when do you expect, she goes, I'm researching keto recipes. That's my plan too. I love carbs. It'll be a challenge. Yep, we're addicted to them. That's the thought behind it. The reason that we love them, we don't love them. We're addicted to them.
Right. See, I've gone to personal training schools, and there's a book that I read from Tim Ferriss called The 4-Hour Body. One thing that he was talking about, and when it comes to losing fat, it's imperative that you eat something immediately when you start, because what happens is your body goes in ketosis, and then if you don't, it
starts to eat your muscles instead of.
And so then it's trying to find anything. So the next thing you put in, it just starts to just take on that. So for me, and I don't know if anyone paid attention, but when I stopped smoking, I started getting into working out again and drinking my water and whatnot, and I've lost an amount of weight and whatnot and gained some muscle. I've noticed that for me, at least, it was drinking at least a half gallon of cold water as soon as I wake up. You end up flushing everything out, which is great. But then eating something like eggs, eating a protein right away. So Nikki, I would suggest, and I don't know if Eric said anything, I don't know if you guys were here yesterday, but I would suggest not necessarily staving off food till later. Just as soon as you wake up. Yeah, we have a 30-minute window, as they say, for everything to start kicking in.
Well,
so.
there's these might be two separate things. Like if you go down the keto path, maybe Chris is right. If you go down the keto path, then you don't want to do the intermittent fasting. But Eric does talk a lot about the intermittent fasting and about getting up and just starting your day. Lots of water, coffee if you need, but don't eat until this time of day. And if you can make it into the afternoon, that's awesome. And then once you have that first meal, 8 hours, that's your window to eat. Your allotted calories for the day, and then at the end of that 8 hours, boom, you're done until the next day at this time. So
yeah, I mean, Eric gets paid for it. I don't. I'm just telling you what works for me, and it's working. I'm happy.
So yeah, we'll have Eric back on either Thursday or Friday, going into the weekend too, to kind of get us get our minds right in what we should be focusing on as we get into Monday. But I'm excited about this, man.
Cool.
I'm back over 250 pounds again. That makes me very angry and depressed, and so I'm excited. I'm excited about this next push.
Good.
All right, Steve Corbin. We will come back to. All right, we'll start with Steve to launch into.
Remember, everyone, if you just showed up, Steve is he's an avid listener, watcher, supporter, and it's his birthday today. So if you just showed up, we're really listening to what Steve has to say today, guys.
So he starts with name it the Steve Corbin Show. So what do we think about that? Sure, man. We'll name it the Steve Corbin Show for $10,000 a month.
Today.
$10,000 a month. It's the Steve Corbin Show featuring Chris Fisher and Chris McCarty.
I like it. I'm with it.
You got it. No, honestly, I love the show. I like the back and forth with the comments and the honesty of Fisher with real life situations. Glad you mixed a McCarty song a day. I'm a big music fan and really enjoy his work. I listen to you all every day as a reply to loan emails all morning long.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that will lead us into how this started. Now, right after reading Nikki's comment. Hold on. One more thing on the diet, and then we'll go back to this. Nikki chimes back in, yes, I should have eaten. I leave at 5 a.m. for work. Oh. The a.m. is busy. I haven't had time, and I wasn't prepared. But thanks for the tip 30 minutes after waking. I will do that too tomorrow.
Just try that and see how you feel.
Awesome.
Right. Cool.
So now, yesterday we had one of you guys come in. So I always say listener. I always go to say listener, just doing radio for so long, and it feels like radio to a certain degree. But viewers, the people who view this show, these are viewers. So one of our viewers came in, and this was Brett Wilkins, who's known Cords for years, known Chris for years, and we've known of each other for a while. So after he left, he said, Chris, thank you so much for allowing me to sit on the show. I hope I can come back once I quit the So he goes on and says some nice things about the show, right? So Chris goes, hey, man, message him back and go, that's awesome. Thank you. But what could we change? What could we add to the show? What could we take away from the show? He goes, I would say the sound could be a bit better was the first thing that he said. The sound could be a bit better. Now, the sound that I'm hearing.
Yeah, we hear maybe different.
It's a pre-mixed, feed. So I'm not hearing what you guys are hearing. Mm-hmm. As of yesterday, what I did, because it's hard for me to gauge when we're peaking in this and this and this. Actually, it's not. I figured out a real easy way. So you see this thing right in front of me, Chris?
Yeah.
So that's what I pulled up.
That was new to me. I was like, what's the green thing?
So now I can see when we're peaking and stuff like that. I can back off the levels on that a little bit.
How does it sound now, Brett?
Yeah, yes, it was, Brett. Yes, it was. Whew. So, so now how does it sound? How does it sound today? Does it sound okay today?
Thumbs up. Just everybody thumbs up, thumbs down. Just let us know.
Yeah, everybody. Did Chris sound okay today? Because if not, he says better, but maybe because in the end, I mean, we've got this is the board that we use in here. I'll give you a little insight. Is the same board that you see me using when I'm out doing trivia nights and stuff like that. It's a great board. I highly recommend it. It's not a professional, grade board.
It is professional grade because you're using it, my friend.
That's right. But it is a Yamaha MG 10XU. So that's what it is. And it's very solid. I recommend it for all the stuff that we're doing. But maybe if we're going to the next level and we're getting ready to join a network. As a matter of fact, we're testing that feed today. Let me go see if our end looks good. Our end looks good, Chris. Our end looks good.
Good. Hey, I had a question just kind of popped in my head. I wanted to ask everyone, when you guys come and watch us, what are you hoping? What are you searching for? What are you hoping to find? I've been asking myself that about in life, when I go here, when I go to a bookstore, like, what am I looking for? When I'm listening to, YouTube, when I'm waking up in the morning, like, that first hour that I hear, like, you win the first hour, you win your day. What are you looking for? Let us know. That'd be cool.
So you're like, to Brett, you're saying, like, when you wanted to come in here and just see what's going on, what were you thinking you were going to see? Or what were you hoping to see?
Anyone who comes, who's been watching us, you come. What are you looking for? What are you hoping to find? What are you hoping that we say, that we do? Is it peace? Is it is it knowledge? Is it wisdom? Is it just laughs? Is it just a second to break off from the world? Are you, what are you looking for?
Doug, you don't want me to tell him that, because the show will go in a completely different direction. Doug says the meaning of life. All right, we'll sit back and tell you.
I can tell you what I think. At the end of the day, who really knows? But, I feel like for me, I think my life, I just want to help everyone be free. I know that my brother Ernest, he just felt like life is about freedom. And he was very free on that bike when he passed away. And it's interesting how the week before he passed away, he was talking to his son about, if I would have passed away on this bike, know that I'm happy. I mean, he just knew. And so now all I want to do is just try to help people, like the song Stuck. You're in these relationships and you're stuck and you're not happy. I want you to be happy, and I feel happiness is a level of freedom. That's
so you want to help people find themselves and reach their full potential, kind of a thing?
Yeah, I want everyone to feel free. And I know that they say truth shall set you free, and just like even with you, like you're
helping me. Hey, listen,
you have your stuff, and I want you to, let's go to the gym, let's do this, or here's whatever. Let's I just want everyone to be happy. And I know that I am finally free, and for me, it's everyone's path is different. For me, was part of it. Step was getting off my phone and changing my number and just saying bye to everybody. Sorry, man, I can't.
So let's get back to what Brett said when he messaged us back. That said, I recall you mentioning something about the setup of your back turned to the guest. I'm 50-50 on that because I like the camera angle, and you look into the camera and speak. Then again, if I'm only listening, then who cares about the visual element? Okay, so Brett's somebody who just listens to us, really doesn't look or doesn't watch. Well, I think that is something that we need to deal with, or Chris and I know that's something we need to deal with the show, because essentially he's right on that one. There's not a lot of reasons necessarily to watch us. I should be spending 4 hours in the morning putting together graphics and videos and stuff like that. So that
should or could. I see. We're talking about meaning of life stuff. I don't necessarily believe that there is shoulds in life. I think you can or you can't. It's a choice you make. If you'd like for there to be more visuals, if you feel like come in a little earlier.
I guess what it is that there's
less pressure on yourself. Less pressure on yourself.
You're right. You're right. There's a lot of shoulds. So it's about sifting through and prioritizing the shoulds, because there's not enough hours in the day right now to put together the show. So I got to.
There might be enough hours. Maybe we could work on our prioritizing.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got to work on that kind of stuff. Because like yesterday, if I had all the video stuff that should be done for the show every day, that could be done for the show every day, there was 4 hours of conversations on the phone with technical people about connecting today and da-da-da-da-da. So there would have been no... Listen, that's insights to that. That's insights to that.
But it's okay. But I think what's so great about the inside stuff, I mean, again, to the people who are watching, like, wouldn't you like to hear more of this? Like, how it really... What's going on? Like, I want you guys to be a part of the whole experience. I know some people just want you to... the illusion. But maybe that's one thing that we can add. Just something,
You and I both know that part of that, some of the videos and stuff is our own reality, bringing in our own reality.
Yeah.
And I just started, I don't know if you guys have listened to the podcast Startup. They've made a television show about it now with Zach Braff. It's called Alex Inc. And this was a startup. This guy started his startup 4 years ago. And within 4 years, not only has he become one of the most successful podcasts out there and podcast networks, but they made a television show about him that's starring Zach Braff from Scrubs. So anyway, that's what he did, Chris. This was now going back 4 years. He came from NPR, had a great job, money, benefits, all that kind of stuff. And he said, man, this isn't it. The future's out there somewhere. So he went out there, grabbed his little recorder in his bag, and not only did he try to get all this, get the podcast up and running and his startup up and running, but he recorded the entire thing.
Right.
Audio wise. So when he's sitting there when he's telling his wife, hey, get ready to do this, he's recording it.
I think that's great. So here, let me ask everyone at home, would you like to hear? Do you like to see more of a bird's eye view of what happens to him individually, me individually? I mean, we all know that I'm into music. When I say, hey, I'm going to play the Hard Rock, would you like me to film aspects of it and bring it to the show? Would you like, when I'm at home rehearsing and practicing, would you like to see that? Would you like to see, instead of pictures of the pup, Chris out there with the pups? Like, what would you guys like?
You're right. We could do
like, because we can do anything. We really want to make you guys happy and give
Chris,
you guys what you like.
I don't know if you ever watched The Daily Show with Jon Stewart back in the day.
I don't really watch TV.
He always ended his show, and I don't know if it's still done like this or not, but they end the show with, now here's your moment of zen, right? And it's just some very quick clip of something, and they move on with something like that. Well, we can do something similar, but you're right. I can grab video of the dogs, put music behind it. You could put music behind it for 30 seconds and go, all right, before we move on to let's take a quick break and breathe and watch the puppies or something. Just sit there and hit play, and it's kind of like our little break, and when we get reset, you're set up for the next portion of the show.
Would you guys like to hear? I hear people tell me they like the stories that we tell about our past and things that we've seen. Like I can tell the story of when we opened up for Dave Matthews and we were in one of the Gotti mansion. Like some random dude hooked us up at the Gotti, and we're like, it literally was them. I'm looking at the house and these pictures. I'm like, that's him. And then there was a crazy party, and then there was this weird sexual party going on upstairs, just crazy stuff. I mean, I can talk about that.
We should retell the story. We should go down to the psych room, pull the production people, and reshoot this whole thing. Kind of like Chappelle would do. Take an actual story and then just act it out.
Just tell us what you guys want, man. Tell us what you guys want. When you want to sing more songs, just tell us, man.
No, Adam, we weren't talking about prepackaging everything. We were just talking about, because Adam goes, no, live is where it's at. We agree with you. We would add these elements to our live show, so it wouldn't be a pre-tape show.
That's cool. But thank you for the input. This is what we're talking about, man. How can we make this better for you guys?
All right, we have some more here. Let's go. So back here. So I'm 50-50 on that because I like the camera angle and how you look into the camera and speak. So one of the things he's talking about, because we shared with him some inside baseball. We had a conversation over the weekend. And with James Golden, who is the executive producer of the Rush Limbaugh show. And he and Chris have known each other for years, very close, family close. And he would love to see him do well. So he came up to check out the show, check out what's going on here, bake more pies, and give us some advice. One of the things that he brought up, man, I am talking fast today.
You're okay, man. It's great. Sometimes we all speak quickly. Sometimes
So one of the things that he brought up is Chris and I talking over each other. And he thought that maybe it was this setup because we can't make eye contact like this. When you see my eyes like this off the side of the screen, that's when I'm looking at my screen to see Chris. When I'm looking kind of down that's when I'm looking back at him. And he said, maybe you guys want to rearrange what you're doing. So Chris, what are your thoughts on that before? Because I obviously have some thoughts here, but I've talked for a little while. So what are your thoughts on that?
I enjoy the different aspect that we're bringing. It's different, and I like different. Look, I got in my band. I wear leggings. I run around. I'm just a different guy. So I enjoy anything new and not necessarily trying to follow anybody. But of course, he is the man, and so you don't really try to go against someone who is very knowledgeable like James.
So breaking down what's the problem? The problem isn't the angle. The problem is you and I were talking over each other. So to me, as somebody who's been in radio for 25 years, there are other ways to work on that, and I think we can do it even without the eye contact. You're right. Eye contact makes it a lot easier, but I think that he and I can do this. And not only that, but man, we've only been doing this for a couple of months now. Yeah. And some inside baseball, inside radio. All the consultants I've ever worked with forever, any program director I've ever worked with that put together a new show said this is going to take a minimum of 18 months to 2 years before the show is really clipping like a show can clip. So I think that Chris and I have known each other long enough. We're professional. We've been doing this long enough and have shared the stage with other people enough and so on. Those kinds of things that we'll find each other's rhythm, and I think correct that without having to change the studio. But we can change the studio. I don't care.
Do you guys feel that we talk? I mean, sometimes we do. I mean, I feel it adds a level of just authenticity to just conversation. Sometimes people do. But what do you guys?
What do you think of it? I'm sorry. You were talking. Man, you go ahead. My bad.
See, but the thing I love about our show is there's a lot of laughter, and I feel like there's not enough laughter, and people take ourselves so seriously, and we forget that at some point you're gonna pass away. So enjoy your life when you.
We don't always have to bring everything back to death, man. That's another thing we need to work on the show.
I don't think I just said it. What's wrong with just really, what's the problem of remembering and honoring and respecting the fact that is a common denominator that we all share. So
you're right.
Maybe that's part of what that gives people to take advantage of your life and tell people you love them and call your mom and things like that. I think it's a good reminder.
Well, let's go through some more of these critiques and criticisms before we turn to our guest today, because they're doing something very exciting in Clearwater, and I can't wait to learn more about it. So, then again, if I'm only listening to I can think of elements that I can't think of any elements that I don't like about the show. It is cool that I have no idea what the topic is going to be. I appreciate that you're not trying to be shocking, political, funny. That goes back to me finding the show to be honest. I'll continue to listen and provide you with any welcomed feedback. But as far as I'm concerned at this point, stay the course. Brett, that is huge, man. Thank you so much. It obviously makes us feel really good. From... Let's see. Carson, he goes, you got to make the Wake.Show pup the official mascot. They are. Don't you worry. They already are. And hold on a second here. We're fans starting to... Oh, man, there's a lot of them. Holy smokes.
Thank you guys for your input, man. This is great. This is what we need. We need to know what you guys think, because ultimately we're here because of you. If not, it's just Chris and I talking to ourselves in our house.
Which we've done plenty of.
but the thing, what I like is obviously things are working because the numbers are rising. We had over 20 viewers at one point, and so that's nice. Thank you guys all for coming as well.
Yeah, we're in the upper teens right now.
We have awesome guests coming in also, too, which is good.
All right, so let's run through these real quickly. So Casey says, hey, what do you say about being the DJ at my 4th of July party this year? Well, since it is the 4th of July, it will cost you time and a half. So we could message me and we can talk about that. Sharon, I need to see your great expressions. Oh, I totally agree with Brett. We're fans starting on the ground floor, so that's coming from Brett as well. Deidre, Moed, Aslam, hello to you. And Carson, got him, and Nikki. Originally, I watched to see McCarty play. I first heard McCarty at Surfside Tap House, but I really enjoy the entire show. I find the different outlooks and opinions on life events. I feel it's always good to educate each other on the different topics. It makes America great.
Thank you. That is awesome to hear. Thank you from me to you, Nikki. I really appreciate that.
She goes, ha, ha, ha. But seriously, I enjoy the interaction. I love hearing everyone's opinion. I think it would be great to include things that happen in your lives. It's real. All right. Well, we can't help it. We like to talk about ourselves every now and again. All right. So now let's bring in our guests today.
Yay.
They are coming in from The Ring. The Ring Workspace is out of Clearwater. And so who do I have today? One of you is Janelle.
Hi.
Yes, Janelle, go ahead and talk to the microphone there. Give me a mic check.
Okay, hey everyone, just reaching out.
The one that's in your hand.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
There we go. Awesome. We'll make that work.
All right.
And who else do we have here?
Simi.
We have Simi. And we have Daniels over here to the side as well, right?
Whoa.
Oh, this is Zach. This is Zach.
Zach Daniels.
All right. All right. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to bring up an article here where I first came across this group out of Clearwater. And this is, I was getting ready to tell you their organization, but I don't know 100% for sure. My perspective, my perception is that this is one of those new cool things that are coming out of the, Yahoo, Google, Apple, so on and so forth, work environments. And now these types of environments are popping up all around the country. So this is coming from the TBO.com. Last year, the entire 3rd floor of downtown's One Clearwater Tower is gutted, pipes exposed, and has been sitting empty for 15 years. But come spring, real estate developer Daniels, that's you, I'm assuming?
He's not here today.
Oh, that's Zach. Sorry about that.
By the way, he did that, not me. We're cool.
Sorry about that, Zach. Now I've got it in my head. All right, so this is you guys then. And so you have come into Clearwater and are shaking things up a little bit. So tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
Yes, we are building the world's healthiest workspace.
I love it. The world's healthiest workspace.
Yeah, we wanted to sort of push the scope of what the interior office environment really is like. We wanted to have people reconnect with nature, reconnect with people, and not feel so cramped up anymore within the working environment. So we focused on the people and then therefore built a space around that.
90% of our time we spent indoors, and the time spent indoors, I guess it's time we pay attention to it, and we built an optimal environment that is conducive for optimal performance of humans.
Now, is this where did this idea come from? I say it's coming out of the the Apple, Yahoo, Google, mythologies that the rest of the world have heard about. Is that where the ideas came from, or something completely different?
It is from a personal struggle, actually. I was working for a software company, long hours, right after my graduation, and I got very sick. Being an overachiever, working 10, 11, 12 hours a day. After 3 years, I was burnt out. I started questioning, just like you mentioned earlier, what is the purpose of life?
Yeah.
If we, work so hard to ultimately live our life, but it shouldn't be at the cost of compromised health and, all kind of other complexities that comes with it.
Oh, your
Music to my ears. I'm like, yes.
I don't know if it was the building I was in last time, but I know that I was constantly sick in my last corporate environment. We were trapped in studios way in the back. There was just something about it. I was always coughing, always sneezing. And so you guys are creating healthy workspaces. What does that entail?
All right. So essentially, with sort of that premise of health, why are we doing what we're doing? Well, we do it because we love doing things, and then obviously to be productive and to perform at our best. So what we did, we kind of stripped away all the bad volatile compounds is a big word for that. But all the toxins basically within the work environment.
Do you mean physically, like the physical?
Physically, yes. We're actually striving for WELL building standard. So that's one of Green Building Standards' newer certifications. And that takes a lot of detail because your air quality is taken into consideration. The actual floors, your tables, everything is measured and accounted for and checked for toxicity. So again,
how toxic are workspaces right now? Like, does the government have very lax rules on the toxicity of work environments?
Absolutely. The outdoor air quality, that there's rules and regulation for that, but there is absolutely no regulation or monitoring for indoor air environment. So actually, EPA report shows the indoor air quality is 3 to 5 times worse than the outdoor. And absolutely, we create this microclimate. We want insulated, boxed up space where we introduce all these, toxic, chemicals and furniture and sealant and glues, and it just gets stuck and accumulates and creates this toxic environment that's very harmful for our health.
I have a quick question. So our viewers were mentioning how they wanted to hear more stories,
Yes.
and you told your story. I'm curious, Zach, what's a story that you had that led you to wanting to be in your involvement into this whole project?
And go ahead and grab that handheld there, and that'll might make it a little
and then
easier
if you could
there.
tell your story too, I would love to, just to connect.
Sure. Thanks for having us again. I think it was really, the natural ecosystem of being involved in kind of the Clearwater business community. These ideas are like you mentioned, are popping up everywhere. I think this is different. This is unique. This is special, and it's something that everybody kind of is thrilled to be involved in from the ground up and really getting this going. So that's what it really was to me. I think it's an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives and really do it in a way that's unique and special and really cutting edge.
Anything personal that just anything like your last job or something like Chris was talking about, he's coughing all the time and she's feeling anything personal like that you could share with us?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the typical example. Even right now that we're building it out, it's where do I work when I'm at Tampa Bay Regional, kind of commuting here and there. You have a meeting at Tampa, you're in St. Pete in the afternoon. Where's a space that you can work that's conducive to that, and it's flexible, and it looks cool? I mean, at the end of the day, we're selling a space, right? So it's going to look great, and I think that's a huge selling point. But it's I mean, you want to be somewhere where there's a buzz, there's an environment, there's a community that we're building, that people are feeding off of each other.
Is this one of those things like the city of Clearwater is excited, the city itself is excited about this, or they don't care, you're just another business in the area?
No, I think they're very much excited about it. We've in fact worked together with them in a partnership with this, so they are going to have a presence in the space as well as the small business development center. So we're really, again, we're trying to create this ecosystem where you can go in there and get this business help if you need it, or you can kind of be a mentor to somebody else. Yep.
All right. So what are some of the things that you guys have going on there? I mean, is there grass growing on the walls? And vegetation. We got oxygen being pumped in.
Lots of oxygen being pumped in. So yeah, everything. I don't want to say everything's covered with moss, but literally we focus on bringing in a lot of plants within the space. Lots of natural woods. All our furniture is natural. There's
awesome.
almost like no plastic within our environment. As you can see, I don't know can your viewers see our awesome space?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
cool. If we have a simple wall feature like you see in the background, that's actually a living wall that's pictured there that we will have.
Oh wow.
So yeah, breathe in clean air, and let that filter through. So down to
I
our
see the wall
ceilings.
over here on this side.
There you go. That's
there
what
it
I was
is.
trying to pull
That's what
through.
you're trying to point out.
There we go. So that's an awesome moss wall, essentially. So lots of greenery, like I said, lots of natural materials, and just keeping it really clean and crisp. Obviously, we're focused on a lot of cleaning. Everything is going to be sort of like meticulously inspected every single day. Lots of spaces don't really care about that. You go to a restaurant and it's like, oh yeah, they're just going to wipe down the table. Well, we have very special things that we wipe down our tables with.
So if you have OCD, this is the place where you want to work.
Probably.
So I do have a question for you, because it's great that Cords is here. So you saw everything downstairs. What would you guys add to everything that we saw downstairs, if anything?
No, Cords is awesome. They're perfect.
See, I love our work environment too. I get excited when I walk up.
I would love to be able to put like a living wall or something like that downstairs.
Yeah, and make it a rock climbing wall too. So it's a living rock. It has actual mold on it.
Yeah, there could be like a legal pad of flyers people could sign,
Yes,
waivers they could sign
perfect.
before they climbed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
awesome.
I want to just add that, humans, we evolved for millions of years in nature.
Yes.
And it's just the past 100 years, maybe we are into this indoor environment and the buildings. So our response to the indoor environment, it's a visceral, biological, deep-rooted thing that we crave for these natural elements. We have certain neurological preferences, that we prefer. And I think that our approach to building an indoor environment has been the industrial approach of placemaking. We think about energy consumption, we think about earthquake, fire, but we don't think about the occupant, the biology, the need for, this visceral need for this connection with nature and certain aspect. And the Ring, we are thriving to design in that way.
On top of that, we're also a very innovative space. We've really pushed the scope in terms of, like she said, what we kind of focus on with our collaboration tools or what we offer in our presentation rooms, our lighting structure, a lot of smart technology going within the space. So
Plenty of chargers for iPhones.
lots of chargers for iPhones, laptops, computers.
That's great.
Yeah, so we are an intersection. We are exploring this sweet spot that is the intersection between technology, human well-being, and nature, nature, technology, well-being.
That's so important, because I travel a little bit, whatever. But I was in Liverpool, and they were speaking about a lot of the individuals who live in London, specifically London. They're just miserable, and they all were saying the same thing about, we work in a small little office, and there's all these people, and it just feels and they're just sad, and they're miserable, and they're just not pleasant. And so to hear you guys say that, I really believe you guys were absolutely onto it. You guys know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, a couple of comments coming from the echo that, Chris. Nikki works in a hospital. She goes, I always think about that. I work in a hospital. The air vents / returns always look disgusting, and that's in a hospital. Well, they say that's one of the most disgusting places on the planet. It looks clean, but
I feel sick every time I leave the hospital, which is actually interesting you say that. I really do. I'm like, God, I feel like I'm getting sick.
Kurt, I once had a cycle of respiratory illness that wiped out my voice for a month. Then we found out that my office had a crack in the outside wall, water seeped in, toxic mold built up behind the drywall. Found out when we painted the office and had multiple coats of red latex paint, and a bubble filled with water formed under the paint inside my office. They had to seal off part of the building and bring in special crews to Jeez, man.
Jeez.
Gosh.
Thank God for the ring. That's all I can say right there, man.
Amen
Kill
to
all
that,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
Get over to Clearwater. So are you guys up and running? And
We are in the process of right now. All the plans are set. We are under construction, and we are to open by the end of this year.
All right. And
Let's just say greatness takes time.
Yes, exactly. Everything is evidence-based. We are so meticulous. Every single aspect of the space we have thoroughly planned. That's backed by data and research. So, it took some time.
You guys are excited. Do you have a launch date? You got a launch date ready? You're going to open the doors and bring in your first customers when?
Don't hold me to it, but hopefully September.
I know it's tough. It's
we
tough.
understand how that goes. Trust me, we might be changing the name over here, so we understand that.
Well, thank you so much for you guys coming in. I know Cords has been talking to me about your organization, what you guys are doing over there for months now, and so it was exciting for me to finally get a chance to meet you guys and see you guys what you're doing there in Clearwater.
And the fact that you guys care about people and well-being is just right on. Thank you guys for all you're doing.
Thank you, and thank Bake More Pies.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
If you'd like to inquire about that workspace, make sure you go to theringworkspaces.com. Theringworkspaces.com. Thank you so much and have a great day.
And hopefully have you guys back when everything's up and running. And that's good. Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Now that's what I mean, man. Like the fact that you have people, we are all in this thing. We're all in this world together. We all need just wellness. Eric was here yesterday talking about health. We're all. Chris is doing the what is it? The keto diet. Okay, the keto diet. Just again, it just looks like we're all trying to move towards this new path of just trying to stay around here as long as we can because things aren't working. It's okay. Everything's great. Man. Everything's great.
Here's what I'm saying. Damn it about. So one of the compliments that we got, right, is, and thank you for getting the light out of the middle of that television, right? Well, I just put the light back in the middle of your television, so I'm going to go take that light out.
Now I understand why you said That's funny, man. Do we have any more comments about
I guess I did.
What other people are saying about, what you like? Let's see. So, here's a question for you, just because I'm the music dude. We were debating to do 2 or 3 songs. What do you guys think? 2 or 3? What do you when it comes to flow? When it just comes to the flow, and I feel like personally, now would be a great time. We just had a guest. Let's do a song, but I got to use the bathroom. Hey, be right back.
You go do what you
be right back.
Music, including music into the show. I don't think I've done a good enough job of doing that since we started this thing. But it's good to have Chris here. Brett says 2 songs. I think so too. I was kidding. Never noticed it until the guy was on the show. Oh, screw you, Steve. I mean, happy birthday. All right. Let's get to some of the things before Chris gets back. We'll just go ahead and pull up a couple of things here. All right. Let's start with the most important news item of the day, ladies and gentlemen. You may not live in Cape Coral, but if this stuff goes over in Cape Coral, it could go over anyway. Cape Coral bans beer sales during state of emergency. I understand completely why they're doing this, what they're thinking, but I don't like it. A new ordinance in Cape Coral bans beer sales before a hurricane. The city said the change is to keep the public safe during a local state of emergency. It is also designed to keep beer delivery trucks and truck drivers off the road. The city is already able to suspend liquor and wine sales. The new ordinance now adds beer to the list. During Hurricane Irma, Cape Coral suspended alcohol sales one day before the storm made landfall in Florida, but it didn't include beer at the time. City officials said they reviewed similar ordinances. So this is already happening in 60 other cities. And it's now Chris. I mean, I don't know. On one hand, you can't argue with this, right? Is there an argument against it?
I mean, I guess the only argument is just how many citations there were made during this time from people who were allegedly drunk versus when they're just out on a normal Friday, Saturday night. I mean, I don't know. That's the only way I guess you got to get the analytics for it. That's the only thing I can think of.
So to answer your question,
I can't deny it. I mean, safety's good, man. I understand that. Safety's good because I don't know.
Because here's the thing: is on one hand, you're like, all right, well, screw it. Listen, if somebody wants to get drunk during a hurricane, whatever, let them knock themselves out. The unfortunate part about it is when it comes to search and rescue, when it comes to recovery afterwards, and having to go save drunk people is not cool. If you're having to save somebody because they're too drunk to save themselves, you're putting your life in danger for somebody who stayed behind and pounded a fifth of Jack. we don't want that in our society, right? You know, we would rather dial that part down. So I completely get that. I'm trying to think of some kind of a good argument against this. Kurt, don't you put alcohol on your hurricane prep list with the supplies? That is true. A lot of people do. Make sure you pick up enough alcohol to get through the storm as well. I guess what it is in the end, you know, we make fun. We have fun with it. But like what's really happening, I guess, is anxiety, right? We're getting anxious. And to help get through that storm, because even though we're like, oh, it'll be fine, there's something in the back of your head going, but it may not, but it may not. And so we get hammered, or not everybody, but a lot of people get hammered throughout and ride out the storm. So Brett says 2 songs, one at the start and one at the end. Nikki says, yes, a couple songs would be enlightening per show. I know Sharon loves music herself too. She thinks I think it is good because some people don't make good decisions when they are drunk. Yeah, I guess I want to argue against this, but you really can't. They're just suspending alcohol sales in Cape Coral a day before a storm hits. So I guess once a state of emergency is declared, you won't be able to buy so, you know, just watch the storms. And if you think it's, you know, stock up. It's not like that liquor goes bad. Carolyn Sullivan says, hi, Chris. And Chris just joined. Hi, Carolyn. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for the likes and the shares and the engagements. We really appreciate that. On to the next one. Trump cancel. Here we go again.
We should just talk about Michael Jordan.
Skip over this one.
We're gonna give it 30 seconds.
Okay.
Y'all just say skip or stay. You got, it'll be like a choose your own adventure. Let them just for one moment, because they hear about Trump a lot. Let's just hear just the first 3. Skip.
So what's your question then? What's your question?
I'm saying let them decide if they want us to talk about this Trump thing or skip it. Let's let them decide. Just one moment. I think that'd be kind of cool. We do that for one segment of the show. We allow them to be like, choose your own adventure. Like, do you want us to talk about this or no? The first 3 will go first out of 3, and then, you know what I mean?
All right, well, Largo says skip it and go back to death talk.
I like death talk.
Me too.
I love it.
We can talk all day about it. I love it too.
Because the thing is, man, listen, it paralyzes when people get scared and about talking about what's really going on, and we deny it, and because we don't want to see it. It's like the blue pill. But I feel like that's part of the problem. I was listening once how people have this crazy road rage. It's because somewhere deep down they think that they're not going to die. Well, why else get mad? Like, if it didn't happen, you should be like, whoo, I guess it's not my time. You know, think about that. Why do you get so upset about things? Because maybe you have this God complex. You think you're just going to live forever. Right. You're not going to live forever, man.
Well, Chris, they're already commenting on the story, so we're doing the story.
Okay, here we go. Let's talk about it.
So Trump cancels the Philadelphia Eagles visit to the White House. The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles White House visit has been canceled due to the controversy over standing for the national anthem in NFL games. President Donald Trump announced on Monday, quote, the Philadelphia Eagles are unable to come to the White House with their full team to be celebrated tomorrow. They disagree with their president because he insists that they proudly stand for the national anthem, hand on heart, in honor of the great men and women of our military and the people of our country. The Eagles wanted to send a smaller delegation, but the 1,000 fans planning to attend the event deserve better. It's an unprecedented move by Trump. The NBA champion Golden State Warriors declined an invitation from the president to visit the White House after winning the 2017 championship, but presidents typically honor their invitations to championship teams. Players also have refused those invitations in the past. Well, one of the interesting things that came out of this, oh God, here we go. Let's just go back. Let's start with Sharon.
Maybe he did it because he just wanted to, he knew that they were going to deny it and he didn't want to get denied twice. So he just jumped the gun and just said, you guys aren't coming. All
right, maybe. I'd like to see something better out of the leader of our country, if that is the case, because that's very juvenile. So she goes, Sharon says, I just have to comment on this. The Eagle players never kneeled, so what is the deal? What he said didn't even make sense. Sharon, you're right. Not once over the season did any Philadelphia Eagles players kneel. They never got caught up in the controversy.
Then, therefore, I think it adds validity to my hypothesis is maybe he was just cutting a gun before they said they didn't want to come.
Well, that wasn't going to happen. They were sending a small delegation. I think what it was, you partly what you said. I think partly is he's like, I'm not going to get burned again. And I also think that he may have been offended that they were sending a smaller delegation. It wasn't the entire team that was coming. It was going to be a small delegation,
which meant that people aren't supporting him, and he doesn't like that.
Right.
So it's probably best that. I mean, I know that there are musicians that cancel shows because there's not enough people in the seat, so they cancel because they don't want to look bad. So people do this, man. They have their own little agenda, you know. I understand what you mean. I agree. I wish that it is what it is, because maybe what if the small amount you'd hope would make him be like, okay, what am I doing that could be making this happen? But instead of just not even letting him come, it denies the potential for growth.
Exactly.
And that's what life is really all about, man. Like growth.
But that's not what Donald Trump's about. He's not up there talking about growth and looking within yourself to find happiness and da-da-da.
Wouldn't it be great if we had a leader that just in all and that just was always speaking that? And so maybe that's what we all need to do. Just be our own little leaders, and when you come into and just try to talk about just growing and what it means, like having an open mind. I know I've done a lot of growing in my life when I started taking away the victim mode and started taking responsibility for my happiness and my health. And that's it. And so you just say I'm wrong. To say I'm wrong about something, it's just your thinking. You know, I'm doing this. Why did I make that action? Just because of what you're thinking. You are the sum total of all the thoughts you've had throughout your life, and where you are in your life, and the things that are happening is because of how you are thinking about it.
But for some people, they cannot see that, and that the reason that somebody like Donald Trump has never says I'm sorry, doesn't apologize, because the way that his brain processes things, the way that
his thinking, exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything wrong in those moments. The way it gets twisted is I did this right because of da.
You know, and so what's great about that is it allows us to see that, and then you can decide who you want to be in conjunction to that. You see that and you're like, no, I don't really like that. So if you know you don't like that, well, you know more about who you are, and when the time and the moment comes in your life, you can make that decision to say, you know what, I'm not going to go down that road because I've seen what that does, and it just doesn't allow yourself to grow because it's just you here, man.
Here's the thing: our president's talking to one group of people. He's not talking to all of America. He keeps playing to the base and those that got him into the White House, and that's what he's going to continue to do. And if anybody else comes along, great. Otherwise, he could care less. All right, on to the next thing: Miss America. So, the Miss America pageant. Are they on their way out, or is this the beginning of something huge? Miss America eliminates swimsuits and won't judge on looks. The Miss America organization is dropping the swimsuit competition, saying it will no longer judge contestants on their appearance. So this is going to become the next talent show, right? Are they going to bring in producers, like old producers from American Idol and America's Got Talent, and so you think you can dance and da-da-da-da-da? Because it would work. Think about it. It would work. I think that if they do this right, they could double, triple, quadruple the audience and the popularity of Miss America pageant. Do you watch it?
Last time I saw it, I was actually working. It was on. But
Okay.
I mean, you know, you glance up and that lady's pretty, but whatever.
For me, I remember it would be on, Miss America or Mrs. whatever, Miss America pageant. I think it was back in the day. It was our fathers, chance to be, like Baywatch. It's the closest they could get to porn in the house.
Right.
Like going to Hooters.
So I think it's a good thing that they are eliminating that, man. Honestly, objectification is not a good look for anyone, man. I have a baby. I don't want my baby to be objectified like that.
Think about it. One of the competition that they're dropping forced women to wear bathing suits and high heels.
Yeah, come on.
You were just on exhibition. It makes you think of that scene in Taken there in Taken 1 when his daughter, he finally finds his daughter and she's in a room. All these rich men from around the world are sitting there in the dark waiting to buy her, and she's just standing there. Look at me.
That's
high
horrible,
heels
man.
and bathing suits.
So I think I'm surprised it's taken this long for it to get.
Here's one of the reasons why it stuck around for so long, Chris, is because that's the only thing that this was when it began. So when this began, it goes back to 100 years ago. This was a way for Atlantic City to get an extra weekend out of, I want to say it was Labor Day. Yeah, an extra weekend out of Labor Day. So after Labor Day, everybody leaves Atlantic City and you're off, right? So they came up with this idea to put on this beauty pageant, a bikini contest, the weekend after Labor Day, and that held people around for an extra week and da-da-da-da, became a really big thing. So out of that came the Miss America pageant. So that's why it's been one of the reasons why it's been around so long. But last year, an email scandal last December in which former Miss America officials denigrated the intelligence, appearance, and sex lives of former title winners led to a shakeup at the top, and the group's top 3 leadership positions are all now held by women. Quote, "We're not going to judge you on your appearance because we are interested in what makes you you." Gretchen Carlson, a former Miss America, who is head of the organization's board of trustees, said while making the announcement on Good Morning America. "We don't want to be out there in high heels and swimsuits. Guess what? You don't have to do it anymore." So this will be interesting, Chris, because I do. As soon as I saw this, I go, "Well, it's over. It's over." You know, this was the poor man's strip club, or like I said, the poor man's whatever. But if they do this right and they bring in some of those producers or some of the people that have worked on America, like those shows I've already mentioned, and they turn this into a true talent competition, because they cannot judge on looks, but you and I both know looks is judging looks is not going away. It's not going anywhere. So that's always, even on American Idol and those things, looks play into the popularity of somebody, right?
It's sad, but it's true. I mean, this is what we've done, and beauty is so. It seems to be everything, and what I don't get about it, it's like it's someone's DNA, man. And there are women and men who literally they take so much pride in something that they had nothing to do with, and they make it everything. And I've said this before, and I don't know where I heard it from or read it from. You can either be a slave to your ego, or you can be a servant to your spirit. And that ego stuff, come on, man, we all know it will get in the way, and it trips you up. And thinking I am my face and I am my body takes away from who you really are, because I promise you that stuff's gonna fade. It's gonna fade. You're gonna get old. You're gonna get wrinkly. And sometimes, you know, Jack Johnson said shortcuts can slow you down. So getting all the stuff and you're trying to look young, and all of a sudden you look like this weird ghoul, like, because it doesn't work, man. So and I feel like that's the thing, like falling in love with yourself. And those pageants do a number of that, and that's why I'm glad they're kind of losing that, because you got these people who don't love themselves, and they just think that they are their flesh, and it's a lie.
It'd be nice to see if that kind of stuff changes in this generation as well. But I don't.
But this is a step. This is the step in that direction, man. And I commend it. Having a daughter, my daughter's got a big build like her daddy. I don't want her feeling insecure or feeling like, you know, and being judged by her physical. She's got a beautiful heart. She's a cute, amazing child, you know. So yeah. All right,
Good. Chris,
you guys agree back home? Let us know. You agree? You like it? You guys like it? Do you not like it? Tell us.
Now, well, I was going to move on. I mean, we can wait a second if you want. I was going to move on to the most important debate of the day. You know, is LeBron James the greatest of all time?
No, he's not.
Keep in mind something as we do this, Chris, when we ask if we want immediate feedback, that we will have to wait a minimum of like 20 to 30 seconds, because it's going to take a little bit. It takes a little bit for them to hear this and then from them to respond. So
okay. So what we'll do is we'll say, I think what we can do is we can say the topic, give one little quick second, ask them what they want, and then you and I debate it and talk about it, and then go back to them, and then we go on to the next part.
Yeah, you are right.
Hey.
All right, so let's see here. Need to open our minds more. Yes. Gretchen is now the leader, so she is a woman, so no more looks. I never watch. I think it's boring. Yeah, I never watch a thing. Like I said, except when I was a kid. English.
Is that why everyone watches the royal wedding as well? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it's because her mom's watching it.
We moved on from the pageants, and now we're going to the reality TV shows. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Who is the greatest basketball player of all time? They're making a bigger deal out of this than it needs to be, I think, anyway.
Well, but something to talk about, I guess.
It's worth a discussion. LeBron James has settled the Michael Jordan debate, at least in his own head, because he just publicly deemed himself as the greatest basketball player of all time. Here's the deal. LeBron's on the cover of the new NBA 2K19 20th Anniversary Edition video game, and was asked to personally select words that describe him to be included in the cover art. He chose the words king, strive for greatness, equality, GOAT. Interesting, considering the never-ending debates between LBJ and MJ. Also, the timing sucks since LeBron's Cavs are down 2-0 in the NBA Finals. Remember, MJ has 6 rings, LBJ only 3. And one more thing, the players who have graced the past 2 covers and 4 out of the last 5 of NBA 2K have left their teams and moved on. So, sorry, Cleveland. Chris McCarty.
Give it to me.
Chris McCarty, is LeBron James the greatest basketball player of all time?
I do not believe he is, but I also do not believe he is wrong for saying that.
Okay.
Once you make a statement like that, it's going to force him and push him into becoming that. Now, when we talk about versus MJ, MJ changed the game, right? So you're talking about, and I got some stats here, all defensive team. MJ did it 9 times, LeBron 6. Free throw percentages. MJ's lifetime is 83.5. LeBron is 73. Let's see. Points per game. MJ 33.4. LeBron 28.5. Steals. MJ 3. LeBron 0. And the playoff points per game. MJ 30.1. LeBron 29.5. Finals MVP. MJ has 6. LeBron has 3.
Wow,
MJ's
he was the MVP of every game.
Everyone.
I mean, why
he has
wouldn't he be?
never
Yeah, why wouldn't he be?
lost in a finals. He's never lost. On top of that, scoring titles. The dude has 10 season. He scored more than anyone in a time when it was no flopping because these dudes were knocking each other down. We're talking about no flops. Now they flop all the time. They're flopping because they're really not, no one's really fouling. LeBron's got 1 scoring title. MJ's 10. Just MVP titles, just regular season. MJ's got 5. LeBron's got 4. And let's remember, MJ took, I think it was 3 years off after he won 3 titles in a row. He stopped at the prime.
That's amazing.
Did Muhammad Ali and came back and won 3 more. MJ could have 9 titles, guys. Let's be real. And remember, when he stopped, his dad was murdered, and then he jumped off. Went through his whole little thing and then went to play baseball. Yeah. I mean, like, he's trying to find himself because his dad was there the whole time. So maybe he had to get off, learn more about. I mean, let's talk about that. On top of that, again, like I say,
we'll go to that.
How can I pick a guy who has not had many scoring titles versus a dude who has 10? How can I pick that? A guy who has his own shoe, where we all wanted to be like Mike. And LeBron's number is 23. He's 23 because he wanted to be like Mike. Like, that's like, I don't know. I just feel, no. When people try to say things to me, nice, thank you for being nice, and they, they see and they think I'm really good, I will never say that I'm better than Bob Marley or Dave Madden. No, I want.
You said you're just as good as Justin Timberlake, though.
I said I'm as talented. I didn't say I'm better than. I didn't call myself the GOAT. I say I can dance while playing the guitar. I write songs. I can sing 5-part harmonies, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, like, I'm okay with that.
You can make Jessica Biel go, na, na, na. Sorry.
Yes, I believe I can. So, I mean, again, like, I'm happy with, I think it makes sense for him to think he's the greatest of all time. He's been to 8 finals in a row. We can't really say anything about that on different teams. Yeah. That's awesome. But I don't know.
Adam says MJ is like Gretzky. If either of them played in today's game, they'd get smashed.
No, stop, dude.
I've heard that before, like, Michael Jordan.
Today's game is so much softer than it was back then.
You don't think the players are a lot better?
What now?
You don't think the players are a lot better? And
no, listen. We're talking about Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley. We're talking about John Starks, Reggie Miller, who hit those threes right back to back. Dan Marley, who had 9 threes in one game. Charles Barkley, who was a dog. We're talking about this dude had to fight these dudes every single. And on top of that, before it was the Bad Boys Pistons with Isaiah Thomas and John Sally. They won 2 gyms back to back. Michael Jordan couldn't beat them. He had to go into the gym and he had to change his whole physique, got his team on his physique. Michael Jordan has always had that killer instinct in him. Kobe Bryant's always had that killer in him. LeBron did not. So no, it's not the same game. It's a lot softer, and every single person who watches and plays, they say the same thing. It's way different. So no, he would not get smashed. I'm sorry. The dude was 40 plus years old in his last season, scored 52 points against these younger guys who are still playing in this league. 52 points in his last. Stop, dude. Stop. I don't want to hear that.
There was something about watching him, man. I mean, LeBron James watching him, or even Kobe Bryant, you go, yeah, well, that is something else. But watching Michael Jordan back in the day was like watching something that was supernatural. He just floated around the it was just amazing.
The dude would sit there and be like, and talk about confidence. He's like, down, losing to it's game 7 against the Jazz, and he just said, you got to come to Chicago. I don't care. You just still got to go through Chicago. There's a difference of knowing and thinking. The dude knew. He knew we're in Chicago. We don't lose. We just don't. We just don't. Michael. And what did he do against Portland? Hit like 6 3-pointers. He's not a 3-point shooter. And he went back and said, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, man. Like, I can't even hear that.
I can't even explain why I can't miss.
So tell me, so talk about this. So during the Dream Team season, didn't they win an average of like 30 or 40 points? This is Jordan, Bird, Malone, Stockton, Barkley, Ewing. But
was Magic allowed to play on that, or was that after?
Did play, and Magic Johnson. Now, but these guys this year, not this year, but recently, didn't they lose? They did lose. That's right. Who was on that team? Oh, Carmelo Anthony was on that team. Kevin Garnett was on that team. Allen Iverson was on the team that you're saying that he get smashed against. I can't even listen to that. I'm sorry, dude.
Pat Largo says totally different game now, softer, and all the players are shooting threes now, including 7-footers are all out past the 3-point line
and
now.
Steph Curry, want to thank Steph Curry for changing the game and making that happen. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ooh, this is a good one, Brett. Because he says this about Gretzky, but they said the same thing about Jordan. Some say the refs took Gretzky's side often so players wouldn't touch him and avoid penalties. Then again, they could be sore losers. I remember thinking the same thing about Michael Jordan getting away with a lot. He had that little slap thing too, slapping people's hands away.
Listen, the dude was scoring 41 points. That has nothing to do with defense. He's still making these shots. No one else is doing that. 10 scoring titles. You can only foul so much. He's still making these shots. He's still winning. Now, if you want to talk about the refs, I'm sorry. It just felt from watching some of the playoff games that I watched today, it felt like they want Golden State to win. Remember that? Even the Houston game. So I can't really buy that. I'm sorry, I can't really buy that. Yes, there's the power. The guys, they get the call. Sometimes they do. Yeah, but it's not enough to stop the fact that the dude won 6 championships, man.
So greatest of all time, not even a discussion right now.
Do you remember the shot he made over Greg Elo in Cleveland? What about the shot he made over what's-his-face Russell in the Jazz? Like, the dude is just, he's a marksman. He was that guy. Everyone who plays today wanted to be like that guy. So I'm sorry, you can't say that they're better. He's the guy. I'm not saying LeBron isn't the man. I love LeBron, 51 points. Look at the supporting cast. He's literally doing it. If he had Kyrie Irving, then probably be doing well, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, you're talking about 10 scoring titles? Stop, dude. He's never lost in the finals. He took 3 years off and came back.
So, for all the articles that said that debate has never been resolved, it's now been resolved. Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time.
Just like The Lion King is the greatest cartoon of all time.
And Adam says, I'm just trying to keep it funky.
My dog, keep it funky all day, Adam. I'm here. I'm with you, brother.
All right, so say goodbye, or do you want to play more song? Because you did play a second. Did you play a second song?
No, I didn't. I was just messing around.
So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of the Wake.Show today. Sit back at your desks there in front of your computer. Take a deep breath and enjoy.
Sits alone by the phone, but no one's calling. Looks at the time, his mind's not making sense. His grandma died, he's wishing she can hold him. He wonders why they all want to know him, but inside he's questioning his friends. This is his life, it's ending with each moment. Oh, look in the mirror. we gotta see clearer. We all want something new. So we run, run, run just as fast as we can. 'Cause when the world blows up, no one gives a damn. So we run, run, run just as fast as we can. 'Cause when the sun comes up, you've gotta take a chance. Can't explain his new set of emotions. A day goes by, it's more than he can take. This life is hard, he's wishing someone warned him. He prays to God each and every morning, but inside he doesn't feel the change. This is his life, it's ending with its moment. Oh, look in the mirror. We gotta see clearer. We all want something true. So we run, run, run just as fast as we can. 'Cause when the world blows up, no one gives a damn. So we run, run, run just as fast as we can. 'Cause when the sun comes up, you've gotta take a chance. This is my window, my only window. It's only coming one time, so I've got to make up my mind. Run, run, run just as fast as we can. 'Cause when the sun comes up, no one gives a damn. So we run, run, run just as fast as we can. 'Cause when the sun comes up, you've gotta take a chance. You've gotta take a stand. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Well done.
Thank you. The song's called Run.
Is it weird to get done with something like that? You put all the energy, your eyes are closed, and you open up your eyes, you realize you're sitting in a room with me.
No.
You're like, where's the state? Where's the? Oh,
No.
it's you again. It's the back of your head again.
Well, no, I just love playing. Yeah, I don't care who's here. I'm playing in front. I don't care, man. I love playing. But yeah, so that song's called Run.
Awesome. Carolyn says, thanks, Fish and Chris. Much love to you. Thank you, and much love to you.
Thank you, Carolyn.
And you can download Chris's music as well, too.
Yeah, iTunes, on Spotify. I'm on iTunes.
And then this Saturday night, make sure you come out and join us at, join him. I'll be there as well. But join him at the Hard Rock. He's got a gig. And I'm going to come up and announce him. I'm going to give him a full-throated, and now. Bring him on stage. And got a full band. The full band for the first time in how long?
First time in 2+ years, man.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years, maybe, actually. So,
and that has to do with your injury or something else, or a combination of things?
No, it had to do with my knee surgery. And I just started I couldn't really move and jump around, so I just started playing for myself, and that's when I had to push myself and stretch myself and started looping, and everything took off from there. And then I met these guys, and it just was one of those natural, it happened naturally, and followed through with it. Contacted them, and guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm more excited about this, just being able to make music with these guys. We're going to play a lot of covers because we haven't had a lot of time to work on my originals, but just come out. It's going to be a good time, and I'm really, really excited. The fact that I can stand up again.
All right, don't overdo it. I don't want to sound like your mom or anything.
No,
but
you're right. You're right. That's why I'm doing the crutches thing. Just try to stay off the knee as much as possible. So.
Okay. That's what you should be part of your act on Saturday night. You limp out there on the crutches, and then as you toss them out. You toss them out into the stands. There, they explode into confetti. All right, we'll work on it. All right, thank you so much. Love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be kind to the people around you, and most importantly, if you want to see the world change, start with you, and be the change in the world that you've always wanted to see. Have a great day.